Okay, welcome. So today I wanted to offer some reflections about the mother and boarding school, and especially this idea of the mother wound. So we are coming up a week till Christmas, and I was watching an interview between Amelia White and her mother. I'll put a link into the description. And I've just watched it. It was very powerful. So, as many of you know, Amelia was on my year at boarding school. So, to hear her and her mother talk very openly about, what they've been through over the last 20, 30 years, working through a lot of the issues, was very powerful. It really touched me. I had quite a lot of tears. And it just made me reflect that, I think it's an important issue. Generally, I've got on pretty well with my mother the last 20 years or so. And yet, a couple of weeks ago, I had a difficult conversation with her. And I want to talk a little bit about, that some of those things which come up for us between our mothers. And I'm going to share a few different books. So David Cameron's For the Record, and also Alex Brenton and his book Stiff Upper Lip. So one of the things, listening to Amelia White's conversation with her mother, was around this idea of rupture and repair. So when a child grows up at home, they get used to being in conflict with their parents. Maybe sometimes there's no conflict, but it's this rupture and repair. And Claudia Gold, the pediatrician who I interviewed on my podcast a number of years ago, said that, I can't remember if she said 75% of our relationships are in rupture, so we're kind of falling apart and then we're repairing. Whereas what I heard Amelia say on the podcast, on this conversation with her mother, was that we don't have that. So it becomes very surface level. We're not resident at home. We're resident at school. So it's almost like, my sister used to say this about my father. My father was quite aggressive, quite unpleasant with my sister. But when I got home, he was on his best behavior. And it's interesting to see that often we have quite a surface level relationship with our parents. It's difficult for us to go deep because we haven't had that friction. We haven't built those attachments, that rupture, repair. And I noticed that and it's quite painful, I think. It's been a difficult week for me. Bringing stuff up. The other thing that Amelia mentioned was this idea that often when we haven't lived at home, then we're not drawn to spending very much time near home. And I live in West Yorkshire. My family lives down on the south coast. I probably go down once or twice a year. And what she was sharing is often people might live abroad, and I have quite a few clients who live abroad. I think half of my clients live abroad. I've often heard this. I think Robert Vercake talks about that in his work, Posh Boys, that often the resources that is the child is taken from their family home, but also from their community, and they never return. And I see that with myself. I've lived since just turned 11. The longest I've lived at my mother's house, and she lives in the same house as I went to boarding school, when I was at boarding school, is probably 6 months. And I've really found that a struggle. And that was after my father died in my 20s. So that was another thing she mentioned. It's like, yeah, I do see that, you know. Another thing which came up last week is this idea that I personally felt growing up that my parents didn't like me. And this was something that Amelia shared in her conversation. And I would go even further to say, I said this to my father on his deathbed, that he hated me. The disdain that he gave to me as an ex-boarder. And I think on one level, that is one of the ways we learn to survive. I then think is return to feel like, well, they hate us, I hate you. And Nick Duffel talks about this in Wounded Leaders a little bit, about matricide, the mother wound. This idea that, we almost want to kill the mother. And we talked about this a little bit in the documentary, this idea of, if we learn to hate the mother, then we're going to hate the mother on the feminine, on the global scale. Suzanne Zeedyk talks a little bit about this idea about, well, we can't really take care of the earth, that upon which we depend. So again, it's like terrible, incredibly sad. And, I'll just share a little bit from David Cameron's book here. He just talks a little bit about his mother. Talks about going off to boarding school, and he says, Dad, as ever, was phlegmatic, but Mum was torn, and later admitted that she only coped after waving me goodbye on the first day he was 7 by taking a large dose of Valium. Yeah. So that's kind of one thing. Also in Alex Renton's book here, he has a whole chapter on chapter 3, What Were Mothers Thinking? So that's page 33. And this is him quoting a mother who's just sending her boy off to boarding school, an 8-year-old. And she's saying, it's going to really, really crucify me. But I feel that it's a sacrifice I'm making. And I'm hoping that in the future it will prove to be for April's benefit. And he goes to say, why did mothers and fathers send them away? And he says, due to culture, dominant patriarchy, social pressure, and the lack of education for so many women, even in the middle and upper classes, are all blamed. I've been told that previous generations of women did not love children as we do today, or that the upper class had sentimentality bred out of them. He talks a little bit in here about how many mothers will pass the blame for the decision to the board to the children. So, were you asked to go? You wanted to go. But what we don't understand as children is we have no concept of what boarding school means. It's the facilities. Yeah. Do you want to go? Yes. Or they say, you said you wanted to go. Or you've seen Harry Potter. He says here, many mothers will pass the blame for the decision to board to their children even today. I just couldn't bear the idea. I'd hated my boarding school, but she just insisted, the mother of a 10-year-old at a smart Midlands prep school told me recently. Harry Potter did it, of course. And while I was in bits, still am really, she has never looked back, desperate for the start of each term. It's quite hurtful. So it's just this idea that, the blame is put onto the child rather than the parents. They're the responsible adult. They need to take that decision. If they see their child is not happy, then they need to take the child out. And I've heard very few stories of people who have actually, their parents have taken them out. In Jeremy Paxman's book here, I won't read it out, but basically he's saying his brother writes these, he smuggles these letters out to his parents, I hate it. They don't listen. So he runs away, barricades himself in his bedroom, but still his parents send him back. So it's almost like this betrayal of, it's good for you. You're meant to do it, but what you then believe, it's like you don't trust. You learn not to trust people, especially these people are meant to be your, the most important people. So the blame goes on to the children, and it's actually, I think, I see that now as the adults, they needed to make that decision of, right, yeah, I'll take them out. And like I said, I've interviewed one guy on my podcast who ran away and he didn't get sent back, but he's 99%, and that's in my own school and in others. It's like, yeah, people are always sent back by their parents. So there's lots of ideas there. I could talk for ages. I mean, another book here is Mini Drivers, Managing Expectations, and her mother, again, sends her off. But she says, and so I start boarding. It's a terrible mistake. It's in the top 3 worst mistakes I will ever make. It'll take many years to appreciate that. So she runs away again and again and again. She climbs trees and she can't sleep. And so again, it's her relationship with her mother there. So yeah, there's many things there. And I think, how do we heal? I think really we heal by healing within ourselves. Sometimes, I've had conversations with my mother, and sometimes it goes okay, sometimes it doesn't. And I think sometimes it is, we've kind of come up against that, oh, well, it never did you any harm, and they don't listen. And what Joy says, what parents really need to do, and I think this really came out in that conversation with Amelia, is just to listen, just to go, I hear you. It sounds like it was really hurtful. I really hear that it was upsetting for you. But often what parents do, and I've had this myself, is they defend themselves. And that's the worst thing, because it takes a lot of courage for us to go, it was pretty terrible. So yeah, that's interesting. It's a really complex one, and maybe I can go deeper into it, but I really see that boarding school creates that mother wound. And, yeah, I'll just finish with a definition of the mother wound. The mother wound is a loss or a lack of mothering, and that's certainly what we received in these schools. So if you have any questions, whether that resonates, please do let me know. And it's Christmas, no, it's Christmas Eve next week, is it? Christmas Eve? No, we're the 16th today, 23rd. So yeah, wish you a really great lead up to Christmas, and I'll post a video next week, and then I'm off. And then, yeah, thank you to everyone for reaching out to your politicians. And we have heard back from very few, which, yeah, that's okay. We'll do another push in the new year, and we'll get some more people engaged and on board. So yeah, so thank you so much. Any questions, any insights, please do let me know. Okay, bye-bye.